Hey everyone, GrimmChorizo here, and welcome to Wrestling Roundup. This past weekend, it was Wrestlemania weekend. You know, we have a lot to talk about. NXT TakeOver, WrestleMania 33, Raw, and SmackDown. So instead of what I do in the past, I kind of, just give the results and, talk about rumors and some of the stuff coming up. I'm gonna more do this as just a review kind of thing from all the stuff from the weekend. So it's going to be more just me giving my thoughts on the matches instead of just the results. So let's start with NXT TakeOver Orlando. Sanity defeated Ty Dillinger, Roderick Strong, Cassius Ohno, and Ruby Riott. I thought this was a really fun match. Those big tag matches, and especially mixed tags, don't always get a lot of time and a lot of good... It was fast-paced, it was entertaining, and Sanity won, which made them look good and dominant, and it made sense. Aleister Black made his debut, defeating Cien Almas. This was great. Cien Almas is already a star, and I can't wait to see what they do with him. And Aleister Black, his debut was phenomenal. His entrance is just amazing. I kind of love that dark imagery, almost like vampire kind of stuff. I like the song. I liked his moves. So yeah, I'm totally in. The Authors of Pain retained the NXT Tag Team titles against DIY and The Revival. By the way, at NXT TakeOver, they introduced all new title belt designs for all the titles. This was a great match, had some great storytelling. It was an elimination match, so DIY and Revival, complete, rivals, worked together to try and take down Authors of Pain. It did not work. Authors of Pain eliminated DIY and then the Revival. Asuka vs. Ember Moon for the NXT Women's title. Asuka ended up retaining, but she had to use the referee to do it. She pushed the ref into Ember Moon, who was on the top rope, ready to deliver the Eclipse, her finishing move. So this shows desperation. I really liked that. I thought Ember Moon was going to win for sure, but it was cool to see Asuka retain and continue her streak and do it in dirty fashion. And Bobby Roode defeated Shinsuke Nakamura to retain the NXT title. Another great match and a great send-off for Shinsuke Nakamura. So then on to WrestleMania 33. Before I run down the matches, I gotta say, the set and the stage and the presentation for this show may be the best I've ever seen. And, that's saying a lot, because there have been some great stages, some great sets for WrestleManias, but this one, it had, a fucking roller coaster. It had, the Universal thing, and it said WrestleMania. The ramp was massive. It had a ring, and then a ring on top of it. Amazing light shows. I loved it. The presentation was amazing. So on the pre-show, Neville defeated Austin Aries. This was a great match, a great way to open the show. It's too bad it was on the pre-show, but if it was on the main show, it probably wouldn't have got the about 16 minutes that it did on the pre-show. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal was, nothing special. Mojo Rawley won with help from Rob Gronkowski, who I guess is a football player or something like that. I don't really give a shit. But it came down to Mojo and Jinder Mahal, which that's when it's not really that good of a battle royal. Braun Strowman and Big Show were eliminated early. Sami Zayn was eliminated like it was nothing. But yeah, Mojo won after Jinder got in Rob Gronkowski's face. Then he got in the ring and kind of helped, and then Mojo won. So, good for Mojo. I'm not that big a fan of him, but I'm not upset, really, because the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, winning that doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. And the last match that was on the pre-show was the Intercontinental title. Dean Ambrose retained against Baron Corbin. This I was disappointed was on the pre-show, but honestly the match wasn't that great. I saw a house show of Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin just a few weeks ago, and it was better than this. Honestly, it could have been partly because they were pissed that they were moved to the pre-show. But the ending was cool. Corbin went for End of Days. Dean Ambrose flipped out of it and hit Dirty Deeds. But it just, with the match they gave, I felt like it was a pre-show match, but if it were on the main show, maybe it would have been better. On the main card, it starts off with AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. At first I was like, oh shit, this is weird that they're starting the night off, but they had so many big matches, they had to start out with something. This was my favorite match of the night. AJ Styles ended up getting the win after a phenomenal forearm, I believe it was. But Shane was great in the match. This was probably the best Shane McMahon match ever. He, was doing good technical wrestling. He didn't just jump off something high. He did. He did a leap of faith elbow drop through the table, or onto the table. He did a shooting star press where the whole room, collectively, we lost our shit. That was insane. And AJ was busting out crazy shit too. It was a great match. Really good, and I'm glad AJ won. Kevin Owens defeated Chris Jericho to win the United States title. Kevin Owens is a champ again. It just feels right. This was a very good match. I liked the entrances. Chris Jericho had a light-up scarf, and he brought back the countdown and the pyro. And Kevin Owens just, his entrance is always pretty, cool, especially on a big stage. So the match was really good. A lot of finishers and finisher reversals. We got a pop-up powerbomb into a code breaker that Jericho reversed, and then we got pop-up powerbomb, and we got the powerbomb onto the apron. So that did it for Jericho. Kevin Owens, new United States champion. Bayley retained the Raw Women's title against Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and Nia Jax in a Fatal 4-Way elimination match. This was a very good match. Nia Jax started out very dominant, and then it took all three, Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha, to eliminate Nia. She was eliminated early on, but she looked dominant exactly as they should have done. Then Sasha was eliminated after hitting the exposed turnbuckle, and it came down to Charlotte and Bayley. Bayley ended up getting the win. The entrances here were great, too. Charlotte's entrance at WrestleMania it is truly fantastic. The pyro behind her, the robe, she's just a star. Sasha had a great entrance. Bayley's entrance was very cool. Nia, I didn't really notice anything too special about it, other than, she was wearing some new gear. But entrances were great, match was great, and I'm glad Bayley retained. Then it was the ladder match for the Raw Tag Team titles. Cesaro and Sheamus versus Gallows and Anderson versus Enzo and Cass. The New Day came out and introduced a new team being added, and that's right, the Hardy Boys. Matt and Jeff returned and won the Raw Tag Team titles in the ladder match. This match was amazing, and great to see the Hardy Boys back. The rumors were going around, but I didn't expect it, and then it happened. It was amazing. I'm so glad they're back. Put on a hell of a match. All of them did. John Cena and Nikki Bella defeated Miz and Maurice. The match itself wasn't anything too special. The crowd was really reacting and popping for Miz, cheering him on big time. Maurice hadn't wrestled in a long time, but she didn't do anything too special. Cena and Nikki ended up getting the win, and then after the match, it happened. John Cena proposed to Nikki. She said yes, obviously. So, good for them. In my other favorite match of the night, I would say probably my second favorite, Seth Rollins defeated Triple H. First, got to talk about the entrances. Triple H and Stephanie came out on a bike. Not like a bicycle, like a motorcycle, but with I guess you'd call it a trike. You got 3 wheels. It was like a big old thing. And they're, dressed like bikers. They got leather jackets and shit like that. Then the police escort them on their bikes. Nothing super spectacular, but it was a good entrance. Very, very cool. Then Seth Rollins was very simple. He comes out wearing a full-on Kingslayer attire. He's got a shield on his gear. He's got chainmail, scale mail. He's got a torch. And he brings the torch down and it lights the stage on fire. Not really, like an LED light, and it goes all the way to the ring. And that was my favorite entrance of the night. Something so simple, but I thought it was so cool. The match was great. It was kind of slow-paced. It was the longest match of the night, I believe. The crowd was not super into it until, later into the match. I think partly because there had been so many good matches, and Cena just proposed to Nikki, and they were really, really loud about that. But the crowd definitely got into it. Seth Rollins ended up getting the win with the pedigree after Triple H accidentally knocked off Stephanie off the apron through a table. He was distracted and got hit with the pedigree. Seth Rollins also hit the Phoenix Splash in the match. We weren't sure if we were going to see a new finisher from Seth, but now he's beat Triple H with the pedigree, so hopefully from here he can get a new finisher. In a match I was actually very disappointed in, Randy Orton defeated Bray Wyatt for the WWE title. The build to this feud has been going on since last September, last August, and it's been so good and so entertaining and just so cool and unique and interesting. And then the match comes along and it's really not that great at all. They did something unique by having a video on the ring of maggots and worms and stuff, which was the first time it was really cool. And it would have been different if, Bray had won the match by using this as a way to psych Randy out and it gets him the win. But Bray did this 3 times, and he still lost with one RKO. I mean, there was an RKO on the outside, but it just... Bray's one of my favorite guys, but this match it wasn't great. I really wish he would have retained. Orton doesn't need that title, but whatever. It happened. Brock Lesnar defeated Goldberg to become the new Universal Champion, and I gotta say, this match was actually kind of entertaining. It was 4 minutes. It was just a finisher fest. It was like 2 kids who don't know how to play the wrestling game. All they know how to do is spam finishers, and they just do that for 4 minutes. Goldberg hit like 4 or 5 spears. Brock Lesnar suplexed Goldberg like 5 to 7 times. I don't remember. And then he takes a spear through the barricade. He ends up hitting an F5. I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 F5s, but Brock wins. It was like just entertaining, I guess, because you don't see matches like this too often. And, I went in saying, I was like, I'm going to hate this, but I liked it for what it was. I prefer Brock as champ than Goldberg, but I'd rather it be a full-time guy. But, whatever. SmackDown Women's title, six-pack challenge. Naomi won, pinning Alexa Bliss. Actually, she tapped her out. It was not a pin. She debuted a new submission, or at least it was new to me. So Naomi's the new champ. All the women had, kind of cool attire. Some of them had special entrances. Alexa had pyro. Naomi had a sweet entrance. I don't think anyone else had anything too special, but it was one of the weakest matches of the night because of the time it was given. It was only given like 4 or 5 minutes, but I really would have liked to see them get more time. But in a six-pack challenge like that, and one fall to a finish, you can only do so much. And I thought it was fine for what it was, and good for Naomi regaining her title. And the main event of the night, Roman Reigns defeated The Undertaker in what was Undertaker's last match, seemingly. After the match, it took, I think, 4 spears, maybe, or a few spears. Maybe I'm mixing up Goldberg and Reigns because they both spear, but it took a few spears. The match was not very good, in my opinion. It wasn't god-awful, but, it turned into a no-holds-barred match before it started. Undertaker went through a table. There was chairs involved. Undertaker was, it actually added to the story, but there were some botches because Undertaker is he's old. He couldn't get himself up for the tombstone reversal, and Reigns couldn't, get him up. And it ended with Undertaker getting speared. And after the match, Undertaker took off his hat and his gloves and his jacket, left it all in the ring, went out, kissed his wife, Michelle McCool, and left. It was... the match was not great, but I understand it being the last match, with it being Undertaker's final match. It's sad, but he probably should have retired a few years ago. But all I can say now is, thank you, Undertaker, for everything you did for the WWE and wrestling as a whole. And, yeah, you deserve to go out however you want, if this is how you wanted. Maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But he put over an up-and-coming guy, I guess. He's not really up-and-coming, he's fucking Roman Reigns. But he put over a guy who still has a lot of years ahead of him. And, I do give respect to Reigns for being the guy to do it. I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns because of his character, because of his booking, because of this and that. But, they made that match the best they could. And I give them respect for that. So the next night on Raw, Raw after Mania, it's always a big deal. Starts out with Roman Reigns going out there, and he gets booed for, I shit you not, 10 minutes straight. Then he's trying to talk, they boo, tries to talk, they chanted everything under the sun at him, fuck you Roman, go away, shut the fuck up, when he wasn't even saying anything. He lifts the mic to his mouth again, boo, boo, goes on for 10 minutes, and all he says is, this is my yard now, drops the mic and walks out. That was the perfect thing they should have done with him. If only he were turning heel. It's not going to happen, but this was a good segment. Kurt Angle was announced as the new general manager of Raw. The Revival made their debut, defeating The New Day. Emma returned, and Finn Balor returned. So there were 2 returns, a debut, new GM announced. Hardy Boys also retained their tag titles. And, Reigns got booed to shit. It was a good Raw after Mania. SmackDown Live after Mania saw Eric Rowan made his return. Ty Dillinger debuted, defeating Kurt Hawkins. Shinsuke Nakamura debuted, interrupting The Miz as he was getting ready to leave. He didn't do anything that he didn't need to do anything. He made his entrance with, I think his name's Lee England Jr. playing the violin. Right when I saw him with a violin, I knew it was happening. Obviously, why would there be a guy with a violin? But it was amazing. So Raw's got Revival and Emma and Finn Balor back. SmackDown has Ty Dillinger, Eric Rowan, and Shinsuke Nakamura. So, yeah. Baron Corbin defeated Dean Ambrose in a street fight. This was a really good match. I wish this took place at WrestleMania. It deserved to, but it didn't. It happened on SmackDown, and it was a great match. It was non-title, But Corbin beat Ambrose, so seemingly he should get an IC title match in the future. And AJ Styles came out and actually shook Shane McMahon's hand. I don't know if it was sign of respect. I don't know if this is a face turn for AJ or just a conclusion to their story. But yeah, it was nice to see. So yeah, Raw was great, SmackDown was great, WrestleMania was great, NXT TakeOver was great. That is when you know you got a good weekend of wrestling. Now, who won, Raw or SmackDown? I'm going to give it to Raw. It was actually kind of hard. First of all, I gotta say, at WrestleMania, Raw won easily because they had more matches, they had more big moments, and better matches, in my opinion. You know, SmackDown kind of got the shit end. They didn't have as many matches. Orton and Wyatt just didn't deliver. SmackDown Women's title, you know, didn't get enough time to really have any good moments. Ambrose and Corbin was moved to the pre-show, and it wasn't that great of a match. AJ and Shane was awesome, though. So Raw had, you know, Seth and Triple H. It had Reigns and Undertaker, Goldberg, Lesnar. Had the Hardys coming back. You know, it just had more. And then Raw itself, I'm so happy Emma's back. Happy Finn's back. The Revival being on Raw, I thought they'd go to SmackDown, but they went to Raw, and that really helps the tag division there. And then SmackDown, you know, Nakamura there, that's awesome. Ty Dillinger, that's awesome. But, you know, the main event of SmackDown was just Orton and Harper versus Rowan and Bray. Nothing happened. So SmackDown, there were some great stuff on there, but Raw was just a better show this week, so I'm giving the win to Raw. And that brings me to what they're going to be doing next week. They're calling it the Superstar Shakeup, so it's not a draft, but Raw and SmackDown are going to be kind of trading some people back and forth just to shake it up. I don't know how many people, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 3, maybe 1, I don't know. They're going to send some people to Raw, to SmackDown, just to shake it up a bit. So some predictions on that. I see AJ going to Raw. I think that's why they had him shake Shane's hand, just to kind of, you know, say farewell to SmackDown. I see the New Day going to SmackDown. There's nothing left for them to do on Raw. I think I see Charlotte or Sasha going to SmackDown. I see Alexa Bliss or maybe, you know, Natalya going to Raw. So I'm sure there'll be more than that. Those are just a few that I think will go. So I'm looking forward to see what they do there next week. Yeah, so thanks for watching this week. I know it was a long episode, but I wanted to do more of an in-depth review kind of thing. And, you know, maybe you guys cared about my opinions more than just me doing the, lay down of the results. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you bared with me through this long video. But yeah, be sure to tune in next week, and I will see you later.